a franchise that has no wins ever about anything.
Yep.
And that whole thing. That is why I think I took it a little differently. Like, really? Okay.
I will tell you this. As a producer, working on my 27th year in this business, when you ask a team for help to get players on, to get coaches on, some teams help you more than others. They didn't want to help Pat McAfee out this week. I think they should have, personally. The guy loves the Lions. Let's face it. He's the only really national guy besides Dan Orlovsky and Brian Baldinger. But this guy has got a huge platform. Huge. He is bigger than anything. They put him on College Game Day. That's how big he is. So to say no to this guy, I think, was a mistake by the Lions. All it would have done was shed more light on us and how the Lions have turned it around. 1-6, now 8-8. Have a chance to make the playoffs for the first time in 5-6 years. But a real team that gets in. Mike Martz said, if they get in, look out. They missed an opportunity here. If you ask me, I have no issue with what he said. But you know what? He came back, and this is 2023. I gotta apologize. Puts out the blanket apology stick.
Yeah, and we can read that right now. In the lead up to the biggest regular season game in Lions recent history, I was hoping to showcase this brand new Detroit Lions one last time to our audience. As Aaron alluded to in today's convo, the Lions are in the main event of Week 18 with potentially a playoff berth on the line against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Our show loves the Detroit Lions. Love with 2 exclamation points. Check the tape. Always rooting for the Lions. We took pride in the fact that we talked about the Lions rather regularly. We always tried to spin it in a fashion as if we were rooting for the Lions, because we genuinely were. Then why would you use the word spin? Their Lions fans were fantastic to interact with. The Red Wings stink, but that's neither here nor there. I thought we had built up a good enough relationship with the Lions to put in a request for MCDC to stop by anytime, any day. And since we rarely, although MCDC was on very recently, we rarely reach out for anybody ever. That's why we have a regular returning folks. Quote, friends of the program. You know how they speak on Pat McAfee. I hate asking people to come on the show. It's a part of the business, but there's so much that I don't like about it. Like it takes time out of people's day to come on our show, and when you're asking them to come on, they're probably not going to be able to do something that they'd like to be doing. I forgot about that briefly while I made up my mind that I was offended by saying we pass, by them saying we pass, he has stuff already scheduled. This is the NFL. They have the biggest game of the year coming up. They obviously don't want to take up any more of MCDC's time. Big game in all caps. This would be epic if the Lions were able to accomplish this. They have ex-player coaching. They have an underdog spirit, and they're in the hunt right now still. I love it. I felt offended by the situation. I talked some about the situation, but it wasn't needed. I apologize for doing that. I'd also like to apologize for adding any negative stuff to the world. We have had a great time of year for football coming up. I would like to be an additive to the folks enjoying it. I was acting like a baby, spoiled in that clip. I watched it back from earlier. That ain't me. In the current spirit of perspective, I felt obligated to say this to Foxy, the Lions, and the Lions PR. Cheers and Happy New Year. Sam, what do you think about that apology?
I mean, I'm kind of with Maz. I don't necessarily think that he needed to apologize. The thing about Pat McAfee is you've seen all year, he is one of the guys that has rooted for the Lions. Dan Campbell's been on his show. Pat McAfee has interviewed Dan Campbell and kind of showcased him to the world. And one of the things that people can relate to with the Detroit Lions, especially with their big turnaround, is their coach, Dan Campbell. He's kind of an everyman. He doesn't come across as super analytical. He is just football guy. And I think it would have been big for the Detroit Lions to have Dan Campbell on the show. But on the other hand, Pat McAfee did kind of seem like a lover scorned at that point. That reaction wasn't called for. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. I don't think it needed more than a full-page apology. But I would have liked to have seen Dan Campbell be on that high of a stage, of a platform. But that has led to something with you and Pat McAfee, which is, hey, that could work out for us.
It has, and let me clear this up. I understand why Pat McAfee was pissed. Listen,
yeah.
if I had a guest on the show and I reached out to them and like I thought we had a good rapport and I got shot down, I'd be throwing a fit too. And I wrote an article about it today. I understand. I've been on the air, live air before, and sometimes you get a little carried away. Sometimes you think you're being funny. Sometimes, and next thing you know, you go back and watch it and you're like, oh my God, like that was not my finest moment. I've had those moments, and I think that's what this was for Pat McAfee. So what I did is I went on my Twitter and I thought, you know what, let's try to turn a negative into a positive. This dude's getting crushed by Detroit Twitter.
Yeah.
So let's make him put his money where his mouth is. I said, I don't fault Pat McAfee for being salty. I'd be pissed too. That said, if you aren't on the bus, you're getting run over by it. Ooh. He went against the family so he can deal with the consequences of going against the family. I said, Pat, you want to place a friendly wager? Lions win. You do a show anywhere in Detroit. Lions lose. I'll wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a year.
Man, and if the Lions lose, you get the shorter end of the deal, I would say. I cannot imagine you in an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a year. You hate that man with the fire of 1,000 suns.
And that's what I don't think he understands the depth of this, what it means to me.
I certainly do.
Yeah, people around here do, but Pat McAfee responded, said, yep, we will raise money for a charity of TJ Lang's choice. TJ Lang, friend of the network, so got no problem with that. And this was the guy that really called him out. Depressed DETN. He said, we'll be a part of that show that evening as well, ? And I don't know if he was baiting him to try to get him involved, but it looks like Pat McAfee, when the Lions win on Sunday, he's going to be doing a show in Detroit, and it's because Woodward Sports put his ass on the spot.
And good on you, Stick, because the thing about take about Stick for that, because the thing about Pat McAfee is when it happened, we all know that Lions Twitter is ruthless. In Detroit as a city, we can talk about our city, we can talk about our team, we can talk about our coach, but don't let anybody else do it. And Pat McAfee, I think some Detroit Lions fans and Lions Twitter kind of saw him as being sort of like this uppity elitist that was just like, lording down on the Lions. Like, how dare those Lions disrespect me, the great Pat McAfee.
It was a little, moment. It showed a little bit of ego, but I've said this a million times. You have to have a little bit of ego to step on a mic in front of a live camera.
Oh, 100%.
It's just we got to see a little bit behind the curtain with Pat.
He's got one of the most popular podcasts in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, FanDuel is paying him. One of those betting agents are paying him multi-million dollars to hawk their product. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. The guy is really good on the air, and he does a great show if you like that kind of shtick. And he's just called the Lions PR guys out. I mean, you can find 10 minutes in your day to go on.
Listen, if Dan Campbell already has his schedule set and you say, can I get Dan Campbell at 12:30? And they're like, no, he's got a defensive coordinator meeting. I don't blame Lions PR for shooting down. I also don't blame Pat McAfee for being like, that's my guy. I wanted to, I get both sides. But at the end of the day, this is a professional. And Maz, how many interviews do you get shot down for a week?
Oh, plenty.
Exactly.
Plenty.
And we're not sitting up here crying.
No, it does. It pisses me off, though. It sticks in my craw.
It sticks in my craw.
It does. It does. I don't quit, though. I'll hit them back another time. I always leave. If the person tells me no, I'll always say, okay, great, I understand. Hopefully another time. And they'll write me back, sure. I always leave it on a good note. And he left it on a good note with his apology.
Yeah, it was awesome to see Detroit Twitter flex on him and kind of back him into a corner for an apology. Because whether he likes it or not, he better mend that relationship because the NFL draft's going to be here in a couple years, and I'm assuming they're going to want to be here. And you don't want to come into Detroit and not have the fans behind you.
Did you see the gift box the Lions sent Evan Fox?
Foxy? Yeah, it was awesome.
They sent him $1,000 worth of gear.
Yep.
I was so jealous when this kid is old. I'm like, this kid's not a Lions fan. I mean, he's a Lions fan for the last couple years of his life.
CJ Snyder in the WoodwardSports.com chat. Stick is going to wear it every day. I don't know about that. I smell a Juicy Jeff 2.0. Yeah, put the camera right on me. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If the Lions lose this game, I will put on an Aaron Rodgers jersey every single day. I will tweet out a picture every single day of me in that stupid, ugly-ass number 12 with the... I hate Aaron Rodgers, but I understood. Listen, if I was
White or green?
Huh?
White or green?
Probably the green one, just because at least it's Woodward Sports. colors.
I didn't think that I could want the Lions to win this game anymore because obviously it could give them a winning season. It could potentially put them in the playoffs if Baker Mayfield and the Rams help us out. But for your sake, I mean, we all have our athletes that we don't like. And Aaron Rodgers, to me, I've never seen you spew more hate about a single athlete than Aaron Rodgers. For your sake, I don't want you to have to wear that jersey. It would pain me because I know how much it would pain you.